What's up, guys? We're back here at the GSL Code A. It was pretty quick, one-sided best of 5 that we just saw. Hack is moving on and Dream is out.
And it was a big upset too, Taze. We saw, Dream just really struggle to see how we could deal with Hack's style. Hack very aggressive in that TVT, and also just in general very well prepared, I have to say. He looked really, really good just playing a better TVT matchup.
Yeah. Good luck to Hack. Now we got Flash versus Impact.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tough one for Flash, but I definitely think he's favored here. We just saw a crazy upset, so either thing could occur here. I think Flash is definitely more successful in StarCraft II, even though he hasn't lived up to what people want him to do in StarCraft II just yet. He has had a lot more success than his opponent here.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the experience, right? I mean, when Flash got good in Brood War, he just grinded and grinded and grinded until he knew it best, and he is still grinding here in StarCraft II, so never count him out.
Yeah. His macro play, his mechanics are still really, really good. You'll find very few Terrans who can actually out-macro Flash. Now, his opponent is a player who's been around for a long time. He's been playing StarCraft II much longer than Flash.
That's true.
And strategically, knows the game really, really well. He's actually been around for a long time. He played for Axiom for a while. Just recently got released, and SKT picked them up right away. And it was actually incredible to me because Impact's results, I'm seeing like a really long shot of Flash here. I want to see Impact. Impact's results are pretty weak. He doesn't have very many. He plays a lot of online tournaments.
Yeah.
Like he plays in like the Alimo League and stuff, and does beat other Koreans there online at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But in offline tournaments, like here in these booths, not so many results. His best result is he just got knocked out of Code A last season. He's never played in Star League. In the actual round of 32, he's never played in Pro League. No one really fields him. He's played like once or twice, but like very rarely. You don't think of him as an SKT Zerg, actually. He's so new.
Yeah, it is funny because you definitely don't think of him as an SKT Zerg. But, I mean, I guess the truth, he is a Zerg on SKT. Let's see how he does here today. Flash knocking out Terraform and Impact knocking out Bonnie Research Station, which means our remaining map lineup is going to be Coda, Cactus Valley, Echo, Expedition Lost, and Iron Fortress.
Really interesting that Flash doesn't eliminate Expedition Lost. Almost every Terran is eliminating that map versus Zerg. That means that Impact will have an opportunity to use that map against Flash, but I believe that's going to be game 4, so we got to get through a lot before that actually occurs.
And the game countdown has started, and it will begin loading up here. Coda again the map, a TvZ here, Flash, one of the most reputable esports figures of all time, here to prove himself as the best StarCraft II player in the world, against Impact, someone who's here to prove himself as not only worthy of Code A, but worthy of Code S as well. The game has loaded up. Let's do this. I'm Taze with me as Wolf. This is the GSL Code A. In the bottom right, in the red, he is
KT roster Flash.
in the upper left, in the blue, he is
SK Telecom T1 Impact.
And just listening to what the Korean commentators had to say about both of these players, because I wanted to actually hear what the MC would say, how he would intro them. Yeah. Basically, he just said that Flash is still struggling in individual leagues compared to his results in Pro League. He's not actually, doing that well. And as for Impact, he just said, well, he's come up here. Let's see what he does. Basically, he didn't have much to say. His Impact again does not have these two are, as far as Korean relevancy, massive opposites of each other.
Yeah,
so
well said.
Flash fan here, but he's basically just... Flash is one of the most famous, if not the most famous StarCraft player in Korea currently.
It's a drawing of Wolf.
Looks just like me.
It's uncanny, man. Sorry, go ahead.
And Impact, on the other hand, is famous, I feel, a lot of the time, more so in the foreign scene. Like a lot of fans, especially of Axiom, Total Biscuit's team, where he actually had his biggest success and, I feel like made a name for himself on that team. Impact much more famous in the foreign scene, whereas Flash is like the king of Korea, and also more foreigners love him than Impact. So he's like massively the fan favorite, has way more results, and Impact definitely really needs to have prepared well for this to take a win. And I wonder what sort of strategy is going to bring to the table. Flash already showing us the CC first here, as he loves to do. He's been doing it ever since Brood War.
Yeah, he has always been a quick command center kind of guy. Always going the macro route. Yeah. But he was so good at it in Brood War. It was kind of crazy, watching him back in his golden years, I guess you could say, because he was one of these players that made StarCraft 1 looked like it was running on the StarCraft 2 interface, like with the StarCraft 2 UI.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
It's like, how does he do that? Does he have multiple building selection in StarCraft 1? Like, how does he make all these units?
That's what it looked like. I mean, when you go back and you watch a Pro Brood War game, you'll oftentimes see idle workers, surplus in minerals, triple Qs sometimes in a building, but that's also because the challenge of Brood War was not just the strategy of it, it was actually can you make everything happen at once?
Yeah.
You're juggling so many tasks, you're making so many workers, each individually, each building you make out of, you have to make out of individually. So you had these huge layouts, complex hotkey layouts, utilizing all the number pad from 1 to 0 at the top of your keyboard.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, it was kind of exciting because you would see lots of mistakes happen or misplays or comebacks happen more frequently. But when Flash played, it just looked, he was just so good at this aspect of the game, this mechanical manufacturing aspect. It was like, it didn't matter what you did. This guy just out-muscled you. But in StarCraft 2, where it's a more even playing field for people, with lower mechanical abilities, it seems like he isn't able to outshine them then. Now, I guess you practice anything enough, you can become the best of the best at it. So let's see how Flash has managed to do that here.
Yeah, in
StarCraft 2.
In StarCraft 2, I feel like more than macro, micro and multitasking are the two more important things. If you had to put those into a triangle, they're all three are important, but macro is definitely something that StarCraft 2 has kind of helped players do. Like going back, as this game starts to open, we see a quick speed, and Flash goes into 3 Rex, so that's all you guys need to know for now. An aggressive attack here for Flash. But in StarCraft 1, say you would hotkey all your factories. So when your closest factory to 3, you would double tap that, then click, press V, click, press V, click, press V if you want to make a bunch of vultures, and you had to do that really quick. Every base that you made a worker at, and there were usually in StarCraft 1, you have more bases faster than you do in StarCraft 2. You expand at a faster rate. Every time an SCV is produced, you have to tell it to mine. It doesn't mine automatically like it does in StarCraft 2. So all of those things are things that you don't have to worry about macro-wise in this game. You have to worry about your drop control, your harassment. A quick lair and quick baneling speed, meanwhile, by the way, coming up here for Impact. So he might be able to just kind of counter what Flash is doing. Flash goes double reactor on those barracks, so it's going to be a massive marine attack with Stim. That's his plan here. A later starport, obviously, meaning he's not going to have medevacs as early. He wants to power up these barracks instead. And Impact needs to identify this. The barracks are placed perfectly at the natural. It's going to be really hard for Impact to actually scout those. He's going to go and check the main base. If he sees this late starport, he'll have a good idea. But it could still be a fast third CC that he hasn't seen either, so there's definitely possibilities of both. And look at this, Flash going to deny this Overlord. Actually, he's not even going to be able to see the late starport. Nicely done. Really important to do this.
Yeah, this is great, because you have the barracks that well placed. Sometimes you can just come out after that stim's done and just walk over the Zerg. So that could definitely be one of these games here. We have the Spire just now beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 2-base Spire here for Impact. Baneling Nest for extra defense. These 2 drones here make me feel like you might want to make them into spines to help defend, but actually looks like maybe just a misclick. That might be wrong. He's hiding a bunch of links here to the left side. Looks like you might want to go for a Ling run by or even a Baneling attack while Flash is out on the map. But that could cost him because Flash's attack, if he holds this, becomes a lot stronger after you lose those Banelings, after you eliminate those Lings. Flash is going for Hellbats, of course, with this push, even adding some Marauders into the mix. It's a very dangerous attack that Flash is about to hit with, especially when you're trying to go 2-base mutas. You don't have that many units to defend.
And an armory here along with this. Looks like he's going to wait for the 2 medevacs to come out, so this way he can send the Hellions out just to make it look like he's going to try to eliminate creep. Then boom, 2 medevacs come meet up with the rest of this army. Oh. Now, once again, Flash getting a little bit surrounded there. Going to lose at least 2 of these Hellions.
He was controlling his drop, so even though he had vision of that watchtower, he just wasn't paying attention because he was picking up those units in the medevac. He's got 2 full medevacs of Marines, 1 extra wood mine, it looks like, in one of the medevacs as well. Here comes that Baneling attack I was talking about. Flash has no units here, but he's going to have to unload. Needs to make sure he splits. And you know what? It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Doesn't want it, as long as he doesn't lose any heads. Okay, there we go. Now you attack. Now this is going to be a good attack. That was a lot of gas spent on Banelings. There's only 5 mutas coming here.
Yeah, if he had all those Banelings at home for the defense, he would be so fine against this.
Yeah.
Instead, he killed a few depots and maybe like 5 Marines, and now this attack is incredibly strong. He now has 3 medevacs on the map with 17 Marines. They have Sim. He's got Hellbats. The splitting is the most important part here for Flash, and Impact's creep spread is actually quite nice, so that's definitely going to be helping him out here.
Ideally, this attack would have started earlier. Oh, nice. There's the multitasking action of Flash. Able to handle that. But will he be able to also handle this attack up here? The Banelings are coming forward. The Muta's being driven back.
The splits were good?
Yeah, the splits were good. And with Marauders and the Hellbats here in the front, I mean, you could tank so much damage.
Yeah, you really can.
I think that actually is going to be GG.
I think so.
I think he just runs inside the expansion and kills everything, and that's all she wrote, man.
Yep, that's going to be it. He just has too much here. The Banelings that needed to be there for the defense were used for an attack. Impact having very little information and blindly going for an attack to help him get ahead before his Beetless to do damage. Just did not work out. GG.
And there it is, GG. He taps out. Okay, so a lot of that win went back to the fact that Flash had really effectively hidden what he was doing. Those barracks were behind the refinery of the second base.
Yeah.
The far right refinery. Not an easy place to scout.
He also denied the Overlord from seeing his armor. He denied the Overlord from seeing his late starport. So Impact was playing blind. And I think that attack with the Banelings was just unnecessary. You're already going for a risky Mulus 2-base play. Like,
you know what was weird about it? It was weird because it was just Banelings. So, I mean, there was a wall in. He saw the wall in, okay?
Yeah.
It might have been down, but he opted to make the Banelings knowing that there's a wall in. Even if there's nothing there, you could still lift up the wall in. Something's got to be there, right? And the Hellions moved out, but there's going to be something in the main.
Well, I would even argue he made too many Banelings. Like, once you break through the wall once, if you have more Speedlings, they're going to clean up the SCVs a lot faster. They can't be split against. Banelings are so slow, and Lings are going to do damage no matter what. They're going to fight no matter what if they have speed.
Whereas a Baneling, to the studio, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming down. But a Baneling will not necessarily do any damage if it gets split against, if it gets killed before it actually connects with anything.
And let's see, actually, what Impact's going to do next game. Flash has not joined the game up yet. He may be opting to use his few-minute break. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming down. Good little audience out here for Code 8A. Only 2 best-of-5s today, so definitely going to be one of our shorter days here.
Yeah. But it's a good day to come down, especially if you're a Flash fan. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could say you did watch Flash play live. Right there.
One of the biggest fan favorites in Korea, always has been and always will be.
Well, I mean, Flash has not only had such a big impact on StarCraft, a big impact on Korea, but a big impact on esports and gaming in general.
Yeah, he's one of the most contemporary esports idols, especially in Korea. You know, you had idols in the past like Boxer, Yellow's still popular to state, Kanata, who's now a commentator, very popular, but Flash is still around. And he came in when esports got to a higher level of production, like 2010, the best esports intros, the best production we ever had in esports in the world. And now he's still playing, like years and years later. That's incredible.
He's a veteran. He's in for the long run, man. He's an esports lifer. We actually have Cactus Valley loading up now. Let's see what strats Impact has here and how Flash is planning on destroying him. Game number 2 is loaded. Let's do this. In the bottom right, in the red, he is
KT Roaster Flash.
in the upper left in the blue.
SK Telecom T1 Impact.
So this is a huge map.
Yeah.
Zergs are going to like that, especially in these spawns. But Flash is definitely somebody, out of all the players in RTS history, I'd say is probably going to be fine on a big map.
He will be tasty.
Does not always need the map advantage to win.
No, definitely not. Now, on this map, it's a lot tougher to parade push, you know, to simply just continue to attack the 4th base.
Zerg can really rely on counterattacks on a map like this.
It looks like Flash is going to go for a CC first again.
It's good handwriting.
Yeah, that guy is actually very famous for making cheerfuls. He does cheerfuls at the GSL, Star League, and Pro League, always with the same handwriting. I didn't end up reading what it said there, but you just see that. Right, we're going to see a fast cross-spawn scout here for Impact. He wants to make sure he knows what Flash's build is. And because he gets here this early, can actually make Flash make a CC on the high ground, and can go for perhaps even a double hatch before pull.
Oh. Luckily for Flash, he always likes to make the CC at the wall and just to be safe. I mean, Flash has been cheated so much in history. Like, there were so many Brutal players who were like, okay, I'm going to spend all week practicing this one cheese, this one build.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it wouldn't work against Flash. I mean, he just prepares for everything so he can go into late game.
He is going to do exactly what I said, Taste. As soon as he sees it's going to go double hatch for a pull, this is a great scout. And even if Flash might not even wanted to make this up on the high ground. He does that a lot. You're absolutely right. But as soon as you see that drone, you have to.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's going to block you and you're just going to get way too far behind.
Yeah, that is very, very true.
It's just like, this is incredible position for Impact. He has he's won the early game. Like, he's won it. Now, you know, it's not a huge lead, mind you, but it's a lead where he gets everything he wants based on what Flash is doing. He's directly countered it, and he's going to get a massive economic lead. You know, for the early game. Things could not be better. In fact, if he kills this SCV, if he targets it, he's going to kill it. Tasus, GG for that SCV, man. That's done, and that's going to delay the CC.
Yeah, and he's okay. Now this other SCV comes out here, and it's just in the right spot. Luckily for him, he can actually drive that that drone out without the SCV, you know, kind of dancing around before he gets kind of his feet planted on the ground, if you will.
Yeah, this is a great start for Impact here. Wow, he gets everything he wants.
Spawning pool is almost finished.
This is why, you know, we talked about this a little bit on Wednesday.
Yeah.
4-player maps, sometimes it's just a bit chancy. Impact sent his Overlord to the bottom left, and he sent his drone to the bottom right. If Flash had spawned to the top right, did the exact same thing, Flash would be in a much better place. Just totally by chance, Impact gets lucky and does all of this damage and gets all of this information. So it's important. It's a risk by Impact, but it pays off in this case. Same way going for a CC first is a risk as well. So going for a gas now to follow this up. He has all the information in the world. This Overlord, even checking out where the Marines are going, seeing if he can actually, checking those Marines is important because now he knows he can get this Overlord into the main, and this Overlord will be able to see that CC because he knows the Marines are at the front.
Yeah, and especially with the CC put in that spot like that one. So Flash is not interested in any aggression. This is not going to be the game we saw previously.
Yeah, a much better choice, I feel, considering the map.
Yeah, I agree.
So that Overlord is actually going to the back to check first, but I think he will still be able to go in and see that CC.
And so this should be one of our longer games here. Unless Zerg decides suddenly to do some kind of attack, I think we're just going to be in here for a long, drawn-out TvZ. Now, the question really is, can Impact actually survive against someone like Flash, who, I mean, has built his entire career and success off of not longevity, stamina in a game,
yeah.
You know?
Oh, absolutely. Well, Impact right now does see this CC. Marine is going to get that Overlord out of there. We do see a Hellion come across the map. Though, mind you, this is Flash's very first scout this entire game. He knows based on the Overlord position that it is cross spawns. Doesn't have any doubts. And is going to go up here and see the third base timing. Don't think he's going to commit to any harass there, but he's going to be like, wow, okay, you really are ahead, actually. You've done everything that you need to do. And as soon as he sees that third base timing, he's like, okay, got to get my double E base because you are ahead in every way, but you're not going to attack me anytime soon. I need to get those E-bays up. I need to get my upgrades up. That's how I can actually make my bio stronger. Ooh, look at this. That's smart.
Into the cactuses.
The cacti.
The cacti. So I've already had Colossus and Colossi for so long. How could I not know how to say that?
Well, you know, at least Phoenixes can be Phoenixes or Phoeni.
Or Phoenicians.
Yes.
You know?
I think those are the Phoenix users. They're the Phoenicians.
They're Phoenicians, man. So we have Evolution Chambers coming down here now.
There's a lot of Hellions actually starting to group up. You could actually hit the third base with these. 6 Hellions here. Yeah, this could do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a little bit too greedy on a map like this. Get too many drones.
Okay, the Queens need to be in position, and they are. They deny this. The Lynx come over as well. So Flash doesn't find any damage.
Stim is getting close to getting done. And, I mean, really, he's just getting all the upgrades. that he needs. Flash is really gearing up for late game, and you know, also you got to give Impact credit. He's doing the same thing as well, pumping out those evos, getting a nice late baneling nest. You know, really optimizing every drone so he can mine as many minerals as possible. Now teching up to that layer.
This is a macro player, like a macro fan. You know, there's some StarCraft fans who love watching macro games, love watching greed at its highest level. This is like your favorite game to watch if you're that kind of person. Just like greed after greed after greed. Responses to greed instead of attacking is just being more greedy. You know, like he's like, oh, okay, well I see that you do this, and I'll raise you my 3rd CC on the low ground with refineries in a second.
Nice splitting here by Flash, actually cleaning up those lings. Yeah. Not really an SCV kill or anything.
Well, look at this. He sees, like, his response to that 3rd CC on the low ground is his own 4th base. Fast than he would normally take it, but it's a good response. He's actually taking a macro hatch right now as well. The 4th hatchery has not started. He's sending it over right now. There's a 4th hatchery, but like the 4th base hatch, so he's going up to 5 hatch even.
Yep, and there's that 4th base Wolf was talking about, the top center. Just now getting planted here. 1-1 is about to finish. I don't know if Terran's going to push, though, with 1-1. It's kind of hard to say.
You know what? I think he is just going to drop. I don't think he's going to do a big push. I want to see him drop, try to clear up some creep, and then kind of gear up for the mid game.
Well, you know, Zerg is. I really like this. What Zerg's doing is Zerg's going to go for Muta, which is going to make drops much less effective. That's really one of the things you always want to keep in mind, is like just getting that air and having the defense necessary. Obviously, you know, laying Muta and baneling is great in TvZ anyways. I don't know if this is one of those maps where you stay on it for a long time, just like stay on that, like don't get a hive basically, like DRG used to do all the time. Maybe if Flash just, you know, tries to play kind of pretty down the middle, you know, safe TvZ, just doing your standard pushes, maybe you do stay on that and just try to keep bludgeoning the Terran until it's getting harder and harder for them to actually get across the map, and you know, eventually they run out of, you know, minerals in the main mineral patches that they start out with.
Oh, certainly. Well, there's a, you know, attack going to the north. He unloads it now. This is the kind of drop I'm talking about. Just pressure here, deny some creep spread. Already Impact has plenty of units. He's got a ton of speed banes.
I'm trying to figure out if there's any nook he can actually put them in.
Not really.
You know,
right?
like we saw yesterday with Trap, he really knew the maps well. And you had to, like, you know, squeeze stuff in here. But I think this map is actually, even though it's big, it's very basic. There's not as many places, at least with Marine medevac, that you can kind of slip in. It's mostly just a very open, big map.
I'm a bit surprised Flash. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised Flash is going to commit to this much aggression this far out there at cross spawns.
I mean, they are even in supply, which is pretty good for a TvZ at this phase of the game.
Oh, that would have mine.
He might just have enough. He's going to go back up now. The Hellbats, excuse me, just here in the front.
I think this is a big mistake by Flash.
Yeah.
I do not think he should have committed this much.
I was scratching my head when I saw it, but then I looked at those supplies. I thought, well, I mean, they are even. Zerg is supposed to be ahead, but then immediately Impact rolls out and just runs over it.
He engaged on creep, and also there was the flank potential, which we saw there, because the creep spread is so good for Impact, and Flash just attacked into this instead of, you know, responding to it. Now, this is a bad place for Impact to engage, but he's got enough banelings here. Oh, look at that split. Whoa. Second Widowmine hit much better there. That actually kind of puts Flash back into this. He can now actually be a little bit more comfortable after that engagement.
But, again, the supplies do even out.
Yeah, which is always good for Terran.
It's always good for Terran. The only time it's still okay is if Zerg has so much larva. Like, so much larva that they can then remake everything, but even then. Now, in fairness to Zerg, Zerg's so far away that it's going to be really hard for Flash to push across.
Yeah. I think Flash is going to have to hope for late game 3-3. Some Thors to help deal with the Mutilas. Already Impact is moving down that way as well, though, getting the Infestation Pit, which will be for the Hive. And then, of course, the Ultralisk, 3-3 upgrades. His creep spread is, again, so good that it's going to give Flash a hard time in the late game as well. Once it gets even better, it's actually about to hit the Watchtower if he just continues to spread it the way he is at the level he's spreading it at. He has, you know, he's done all this with just 6 queens. It's pretty impressive. Drop to the top right. Actually undetected so far.
Yeah, this might be the beginning of something. Also, Zerg's actually expanding over there to the bottom left. Sometimes we see Zergs that'll just keep taking the top part of the map, but it looks like Impact wants to keep absolute distance here from his opponent. Just you stay as far out as possible.
Yeah.
And we're going to have another drop now. Zerg should see this, but, you know, can he juggle as many tasks at once? By the way, the angling is so good.
Yeah, this is
There's a little nook. There's a little place I was talking about that I wasn't sure about earlier where you could kind of tuck your Marines in, and it's harder for the Lynx to efficiently get him.
Look at all these Spore Crawlers he's added here with these Overlords. I like this a lot.
Well, this is Zerg going into that end game kind of phase where they just have everything, all the defenses.
I like how Impact is expanding considering his creep spread. Flash has done nothing to deny it, like literally nothing. He keeps throwing Mutalisk into these drops, which does concern me. Like, Flash has gotten way too many free Mutalisks, but Widowmine drop here.
Oh, nice!
7 kills.
Yeah, you know, it's important to note, yes, of course, the mutas are helpful in taking on the drops, but you need to make sure you're not losing them or trading. And I don't know, Flash is like everywhere, man. Look at this. He's doing a really good job.
And this is actually pretty unlike Flash, to be honest. We don't see him play this way too often. And one other thing I want to point out, which is crazy, we see this every now and then. The Flash is upgrading the armor for his medevacs. He's at +1 armor. He's going to have +2 armor.
Oh, that's a great point. I mean, these guys are matching it out. But this is also sort of Flash's game too, right? End game. Let's make stuff. Let's have a lot going on. Not just a couple build orders that we're trying to map out. Now we have all the tools. I have all the tools necessary for me, and you have all of them as well. Let's play this game. Let's play endgame StarCraft. And so far, the harass has been good, and the follow-up push here from Flash is looking pretty scary as well.
I'm just really liking this armor upgrade because it affects the upgrades for the medevacs. His Thors have more armor, and his Widowmines have more armor now as well.
Widowmine gets taken out. Or, not Widowmine, medevac.
This is a really cool style we're seeing Flash play it. And he's about to have +2 armor. 4 Thors in the mix, becoming more popular in Korea. Dream kind of popularizing this recently. And this push over here might actually end this 4th base and see Flash and get in there. Oh, he doesn't have a huge army here, but it is starting to get low.
Oh man, all these little battles slowly getting won in different spots on the map here for Terran. A lot of Banelings coming down here, though. The Thors probably should have been up there in the front, unloading some more Marines, actually and Marauders as well.
He's actually targeting these Mutalisks now with his Thors as best as he can, but he's going to lose a lot of these expensive units here, even with the +2 armor. They cannot compete with this many Lings.
The armor positioning here was, army, I can't talk, sorry. The army positioning here as well for Flash was a little bit off.
Yeah.
The 4 Thors in the back, Marauders showing up. Let's say the Marauders slept in or something. They just show up late. And then the Banelings are all there in the front to connect with the Marines. So, I mean, that's exactly the opposite of what a big endgame engagement is supposed to look like.
Yeah. He's getting +3 armor now for these Thors. +3 armor, building, plating. The ultimate late game. Like you said, you called it tasteless. I mean, that's what these two are going for here. Gonna save this Thor with a pickup. And with the +2 armor, and even now the +3 on the way, these medevacs can take a few hits. You can feel those bounce damage on the Mutalisks as well. This does force him to turn around. I'd like to see a repair on that Thor. Okay, bring in some SCVs over, because that's an expensive unit that doesn't cost much to repair.
Well, a lot of times when Zerg just engages, let's say they fly or just even hit a bunch of Banelings into that Thor and it doesn't die, or the mutas attack it, but it still survives. Repairing it, you're going to get so much more value out of it. You can really wear the Zerg down that way.
Dude, this is too many Zerglings here. He's going to have to pick up these Thors again. And landing them and having them do extra damage to Mutalisks is great here. But this is just too much. This overwhelming Zerg army.
Well, he's coming in here from behind, though. He's actually, it's kind of weird. It's like the Terran is surrounding the Zerg right now.
Yeah, but he fought 2 battles where he had half of his army, basically. So the Zerg's going to take a massive advantage from this. Going to kill some medevacs and reinforces with these Mutalisks. Getting into a hard spot here, though. Meanwhile, drop over here at the 4th base.
Terran can keep pushing. Terran can keep coming up here, but the mutas are the real threat. Let's say that giant mutaball dies, then I think Terran, we can, comfortably say that the Terran push is going to be really good. But right now, I'm not entirely sure. With mutas being produced pretty rapidly, he also has an Ultralisk Cavern, just in case he wants to switch into that.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough bank for that just yet, and actually Flash right on top of that Ultralisk Cavern will be cleaned up. But this base over here absolutely will go down. Say goodbye to your 5th base, Impact. The upgrades for both players are incredible. +3 armor about to finish for these Thors and medevacs, but at the same time, +2 for Mutalisks is done. And Impact's ground army does have 3/3. His Lings and his Banelings, as well as his Ultralisks, whenever he has enough money to make those, will be fully upgraded, which is really important.
And the Banelings are coming down here now, getting some nice surrounds.
Yeah.
And he's really driving it back. Now, let's also keep in mind, though, I mean, econ-wise, backing home for Flash, he's in good shape. He's got all the additional command centers. I guess the only real big problem, though, for him is that it's not easy to expand to any more expansions.
Yeah.
Terran sort of maxes out.
Yeah.
They get this advantage early on because they can build command centers inside their main, and, they get really good defense with bunkers and siege tanks. But as the game goes on, they really start to exhaust where they can actually cover on the map. And by the way, with this kind of Thor micro, picking up and going back, definitely getting a lot of good value out of those Thors.
Yeah, with +3 armor as well. All these banelings not able to land those bird banelings there, just barely misses. But Impact is able to, even being consistently down in supply here, take some of these fights because most of Flash's army supply is in medevacs. He has so many medevacs, so the army is not as strong as it looks. And especially when he's lifting up and there's no Thors on the ground, like he gets pushed back because he can't stay under the Mutalisk while these units are lifted up in the medevacs. He has on the map right now, and Flash is known for doing this in StarCraft II. He has 8 medevacs, going up to 10. He's playing this as like their medics in StarCraft 1.
Yeah. Well, he can micro the Thors pretty well with those extra medevacs. We have a Thor Baneling, but it's
alone.
There we go. Yeah, it's not paired up.
Oh, that Widowmine hit was actually... Where's the Bungles? Where are they? That Infestor with full energy just walks into the fight and dies. Bungles would have been so good there.
He's actually going to be able to push up here and possibly take this base. I mean, the Banelings actually got driven back there. He's, I guess, Impact sort of forced to come in here and try to re-engage. Once again, great micro with the Thor.
The +3 armor is such a great choice here from Flash.
I think actually really Flash is starting to roll him.
Yeah, I think so.
This is, Flash, you play a game like this against Flash, you eventually get worn down and fall apart.
He's able to just use these medevacs and these Thors in conjunction with each other so well with this armor. Look, he has to pick up here again, but the Mutalisk can't kill these medevacs. They're all so low, but they're all still alive because they have so much armor.
If you guys are wondering what Flash looks like in Brood War, it looks a lot like this game.
Yeah.
Where you got two guys going neck and neck. But as the game goes on and it gets crazier and crazier and more of the resources on the map are getting sucked up, eventually Flash overcomes.
Now these medevacs, a lot of them are very low. I mean, we're talking like in the red. Like, we're talking like less than 20 hit points. And a lot of them also are out of energy. So I'd like to see Flash kind of take this moment to regroup for a minute, defend his bases. He's getting the +1 for his Thor, so he's going to have even more upgrades. I just kind of wait for another better engagement, because a few Mutalisk hits will kill the majority of these medevacs. He's got to be careful about that. And he's mostly Marauder here on the ground. He's expecting the Ultra switch, just hasn't happened yet. Like, look how many Marauders he has in this army. So many. He's almost pure Marauder.
It's pretty good. He's going to have to upgrade that ability for the Marauder where he can lay on its back and hit air units, because there's too many mutas for now. I still think Flash is just going to slowly close this out, though. He's stamped out the expansions on the upper right. This one here in the center left is sort of the last piece he needs. He's got a good number of Widow Mines, too, if he can just leapfrog those forward.
I almost want to go as far as say he's created like a new composition of like Marauder Thor.
Marauder, yeah, he's Marauder Widow Mine play.
Yeah. Like, he does have some Marines. He's obviously making... He's actually switching back into them. You guys can see in the production tab now because he knows this is like...
Because he's actually supposed to have a little bit more in there.
Yeah. These Mutalisk are actually taking advantage of this fact briefly here to come over and try to do some damage on this planetary. They do get denied. Flash will just not be broken right now. He's in such a good position in this game. And because he's exchanging units constantly, Impact can never build a bank to switch into Ultras.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, getting a nice surround here, keeping that alive a little bit longer.
Yeah. The Widow Mine hits here have just been too good. Impact's defense against the Widow Mines, his splitting against the Widow Mines has been pretty weak. And I don't mean to be critical, but we've just seen too many really good Widow Mine hits.
Yeah, well, also the Thor micro here has just been so good. He's just always making it work. Now, the problem for the Mutas now is that if they don't get in there correctly, the Widow Mines are going to do so much damage. When Mutas are clumped up like this, it's so scary. Also, when he turns clumped up like this too, it's pretty hard to figure out where the Widow Mine is under all these other units, or even click on it properly.
Exactly. You're doing so many other things at the same time. You've got to be injecting all your bases to make sure you have larvae to continue to make lings. He's taking this other base over here to the top right, which is going to transfer his drones over to right now.
Bad hold position over there. Thor once again getting picked up with that great Flash micro.
These lings are just like trying to find somewhere to be, but they're just being chased down. It's funny what you said earlier. I feel like it's so true. Just watching Terran surround the Zerg in this game. Oops.
Look at this, another nice little nook right up here. Even with a Marauder there on the outside, that's the perfect spot for him.
Yeah. Flash just has such a great army, and with the medevac counting built now at 11, it's just going to constantly have enough energy to keep it healed. Even with some of these medevacs almost dead, doesn't matter if they don't die. +2 for his Thor is going to finish here in just a moment as well, so he's going to have +2, 3 Thors. Oh, these Widow Mines could be excellent, these hits. Oh, decent on the Mutas. And now the follow-up push, I think, might just end the game here, Tasis. He's up 60 supply. So many medevacs to heal this army.
The only thing he's got going for him is those Mutas, and those Mutas are slowly, over time, just not enough. As Flash is getting bigger. If Flash is bigger, faster, stronger, that's what he is this game. There it is, GG. Flash wins game number 2, now with a 2-0 lead.
That's kind of been Flash's career, man. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
And that was a great game, though. We got to see the ultimate late game out of these two. At the supreme late game level, like as late game as it gets.
I can see Impact really deep in thought right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Flash won with the timing, and then he won with the, on a map where basically Terran probably shouldn't try to timing, so Terran just goes to the late end, like end game, late game. We have every tech, we can make any unit, and just wears Impact down.
I really like his armor upgrades, by the way. I think they're so smart for his style.
Yeah.
Because he always pushes to the very edge before he has to pick up. Like, he is on the last part of what he can continue to do damage with. Then he just jumps into his massive medevac count, and they're not going to die as easily with this armor. And the armor is going to work even better against the glaive worm, like bounce damage on the Mulus.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really, really smart.
Map number 3 is going to be on Echo. Can Impact come back right now? I'm not so sure.
I don't think so, Taste. I think Flash is going to close it out, man.
I'm thinking the same thing, Wolfie.
This is some intense music here as Impact is down to his last life here in Code A.
No more mistakes. You've got to play perfectly. You've got to do everything right, and against a player like Flash.
Not easy.
Man, no, not easy at all.
It all comes down to this. Tell your friends to tune in. We might see Flash crowned Code S right here, right now on Echo.
And no matter what, this Code S is going to be pretty good, man. But, I mean, I just don't see Impact bouncing back. I always want to paint a story of, like, what he would need to do or what would be the best approach. But right now, Flash is looking a little bit like Brood War Flash. And Brood War Flash is a lot a bit scary.
Yeah, man.
GSL, I say that I will never surrender.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is.
KT roster Flash.
They call him God in Korea.
In the upper left, in the blue, he is.
SK Telecom T1 Impact.
Impact having his own, decent amount of following and fans here in the crowd today. I was checking out some of the tweets that people were sending me. A lot of people cheering for Impact. He's just the underdog here, plain and simple. Even though Flash has shown some weak TvZ this year, I feel like he's really fixed some of the issues that he had in this matchup, and he's kind of turned it around. And obviously, he really has. I mean, look at it, his game 2 especially was just incredible play. I couldn't really find much weakness in this play at all. His Widowmine burrows, his drop play, his multi-pronged harass. Even in the game where Impact had 16 to 20 Mutalists, he's still making Widowmine drops work. Like, he's really, really good at multitasking.
It's pretty funny because I don't think any of the casters highlight his micro enough.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you see it in that game, and I mean, we don't see people microing Thors like that as much anymore in StarCraft II, but Flash is doing it.
It's a really new trend, actually, to see this composition used this way. We're actually having a pool first versus a CC first, so you might actually be able to do some damage to that. Dream started doing this in Star League Season 1, and then we saw him actually become probably the best Thor micro player in the world. And we saw more and more players kind of start using this. We saw Gumio start using it. Obviously, Flash is using it right now. Maru is using it more often these days. Innovation is using it. It's something that people are just starting to realize, whoa, actually, I can split Marines. Like, lifting a Thor is actually not that hard. I just have to practice it. Now I know how to do this. I know how long I can, how much damage they can take before I lift to make sure the Mutalists don't actually, kill my medevac before. So it's a tough micro trick to do, but it's becoming more and more used. And I don't think this is a pool first here, by the way, for Impact that's designed to shut down a 2 barracks proxy like many people might be thinking. I think this is, especially because he made 6 links here blind, directly designed to do a ton of damage to Flash, because Flash has gone CC first every game. He's very predictable in that regard, and I think this is a counterplay. He's also going into a fast gas, so I think this is going to be all aggression all the time here for Impact in Game 3.
I think this is the way he should play, at least here for Game 3. Not saying the whole thing. Because Flash is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
This build for Zerg is better than the build that Flash, in fact, it basically counters it to some degree.
He's going to kill this bunker easily, and Flash needs to wall the top of his ramp.
Here we go.
In fact, he could just run by. He's just going to run by here. There's no wall. The first Marine isn't even out yet. He's going to have to micro his SCVs while he's going to pull back the weakened ones. Okay, good control blocking the Marine off there with the SCVs.
Now, if Flash doesn't take any damage here, that's really bad for Impact.
No, I mean, absolutely.
This is supposed to kill off a good amount of workers, but so far his control has been completely perfect.
You were talking about how he likes to make a CC on the high ground. He does that a lot. And even if he doesn't, his control, as you were saying in Brood War, is so good when he is up against a super aggressive build, even a 10 pool, would struggle to do damage.
Was so good.
His control is incredible. Pulling the weakened SCVs back, repairing the ones that are damaged. No damage done here. Now it's a weak drone count for Impact and 2 CCs for Flash, but I don't think Impact is going to stop here. I think the next step is a Baneling all-in or a Roach attack or some combination.
Did he lose a single unit? No, he didn't.
0 units lost. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not even a single unit. He even pulled his SCV that was about to die at the bunker building back.
I mean, I wasn't expecting this game to end with a Ling Rush, but I was expecting kills there on the workers.
Yeah, I was expecting like 5 or 6. That would be about what you need to do to make this strategy where it's like, okay, well, that did enough damage. Flash's follow-up is going to be Banshees. And Banshee's obviously quite strong against a player who does something like this. Because they're not going to have a lair most of the time, unless they're going 2-base lair, in which case your Banshees get over there and they're like, oh, okay, well, you're still on 2-base. I had a CC first. I'm in a really good spot. Impact is really going to struggle to transition here. We do see him taking additional gases. And a Baneling Nest comes up. I think he needs to basically do a Baneling bust in order to win this game. And even that is pretty predictable.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's not like... I was talking about this a little bit yesterday, but sometimes you can kind of predict if there's like some crappy aggression early on. You can only follow that up with more explosive aggression, and then probably, you either win then or you burn out.
Exactly. It's a very comfortable place to be after someone does such an aggressive move like that against you and you take no damage. You just sit there and you go, you're probably going to all-in me, so I'll play safe. And even if I play safe and you don't all-in me, you're 2 behind. Like, you almost feel like you've already won the game. You just don't, as long as you don't make any more mistakes, which is no doubt how Flash feels here. He's transitioning now into this Cloak Banshee play.
Well, I think the thing is, man, I think Cloak Banshee play, it's not going to help defend against Lings and Banelings. I mean, yeah, we can shoot it down, but...
He just needs to scout it.
Oh, let's see. The Hellions are out on the map. Is he actually just going to scout this? Hold on. And bottom left. I want to see if we get this.
Oh, he doesn't see it. He stops.
He sort of was looking. He knows where to look.
Yeah.
But they're actually all the way down there.
Let's see how many Banelings he makes this time, because he overmade Banelings in game 1, which
he did. Okay, well, I think now this Ling attack might work because the... Well, hold on. No,
he sees it.
I keep going. Hold on. Wait. All right, he's actually backing up now.
He sees it. He doesn't see how much, though. He only saw half of it. 16 Banelings here. Meanwhile, Spore Crawler's coming. The Banshee's coming home to help defend this.
More bunkers need to come down here. Raises the wall in. He needs to fill that bunker up.
The second Banshee is going to be very helpful. He needs to target down those Banelings before they get there, if he can. Okay, here comes that Banshee to do exactly that.
SCV's already pulled, by the way.
He's just going to evacuate the natural, which is a smart choice. Here comes that Banshee to kill the Banes, as I was talking about. He's to target those down. Okay, he's in. Let's see how many Banelings he wastes here at the natural. He's actually going right into the main base here. So smart.
Nice spray in there. Now he's got that tight little entrance contained there.
Yeah, this is...
Okay, now this handling, I want to point out how totally different this is from like every other TvZ we get to cast here in Korea. That was a much better and much more effective and safer way to hold. He evacuated all SCVs. He sacked the bunker. He just had one Marine in there to make an illusion, to make it look like there's, maybe more than there actually is. He sends all the SCVs back there. This is beautiful.
He also created a funnel. He created a funnel for those Hellions to hit the units coming up, as you were talking about, and that's all you need. Now he's got 3 CCs, and Impact is just going to do a second, weaker version of this attack, and I think this time Flash can actually hold the natural.
Yeah.
Can't even break through. He barely breaks through into another funnel with all these Marines, with stim, mind you. That's game. Banshees are eliminating all mining here.
He could just kill that queen. How funny is that?
Yep. Not funny for Impact, I'm afraid.
Not funny at all for Impact.
He's going to just re-wall this.
I mean, the SCV count here is still even ahead of the Zerg. He just keeps making these depots to slow it down, and the Banshee just target fires the Banelings.
Yep.
Look at that. He doesn't even get in there.
Yep. GG.
That's it. 3-0. Flash is going to Code S, bitches.
He's going to Code S, man, with solid play. I don't care what anyone says about his TvZ. That was some of the best we've seen in Code A. I mean, it was Code S level. That's why he's going there.
Fantastic stuff.
That
I love
hold
it.
was, I mean, like you said, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, no, seriously, I mean, you and I cast so much StarCraft.
Yeah, especially the TvZ
I have
matchup.
not seen a hold for that strat in a long time. I feel like some of the other players are greedier. They say, oh, well, I need to make 4 or 5 bunkers. Flash looks at that, pulls SCV, says, well, it's not about him making my CC lift here. It's actually about him coming up all the way in there, getting around that. So he pulls everything back. Lanes are surrounded bunkers, and banelings are being wasted on bunkers as well. But that funnel there, he had just the right angle with the Hellions. As the banelings come up, remember, they're not fast. He just fires from all these different angles with the Hellions, mows down those banelings, and eventually wins the game.
Easy peasy. Coda, Cactus, and Echo, man. 3 in a row. And
Coda, more like Code S.
oh,
Had to make that at least once in the Code A. Now felt like as good of a time as any.
well, there are our final results. Both Terran players, Hack and Flash, will advance. A big upset in that first series, but the second series just went as well as any Flash fan would have expected it to. And that's going to be it for this week of Code A, Tasteless.
Yeah, Wolfie, that's going to do it for Code 8, but there's plenty more StarCraft that you guys can be watching throughout the weekend. I think probably, maybe even, I don't know when it starts exactly, sometime like now or maybe in an hour or two, DreamHack.
Yeah, it's going to be probably
on.
in some of the next 3 hours or so it's going to be starting.
And
next week, Code A is going to be starting 1 hour early on Wednesday because
Right.
we actually had the player that was going to be playing today will actually be playing it on
yeah,
Wednesday.
that's why we
so
only
you guys
had
can see
2
it down
best of
there.
5s. And also, be sure to check out IEM. That is also going on this weekend as well. Lots of StarCraft 2. Thank you guys so much for joining Wolf and me here for another day of the GSL Code A. We will see you again on Wednesday at wait, Jay, it's 5:30?
5:30, yes.
5:30 Wednesday instead of 6:30 because we have 4 best of 5. So we'll see you then. Take care, guys. Good night.